Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Today we are taking a look at Logic Pro and we're going to concentrate on the session players and the cool stuff you can do with them. This is going to be a long video. It'll be a deep dive look at all the session players and different things we can do with them. I'm going to play you a couple of snippets from this and then a couple of snippets from another thing, so you get the idea of what they can do, right? So if you strike the like, please, that would be very cool if you hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Please consider becoming a Patreon, help support me and Joe here at the Sound Test Room. And if you're watching this via a premiere, welcome, and I'm glad to see you. Right, okay, so let's do this. I'm going to play a couple of things, right? So I've spent the last few days playing with the session players, building a couple of projects, having a mess around, seeing what we can do, and it turns out we can do an awful lot. Right, so I'll just start this and then I'll skip to different bits. Starts off really simple. And as each kind of progression it goes along, it progresses and gets busier and busier sort of thing. And you can see I've got a chord track going as well. So I'll tell you about the chord tracks and all. So a bit more action there. Let's skip to about here. Still just the bass, grand and drum kit. Some percussion comes in here. Everything here is session players, everything. Okay, skip to around here. Well, let's just leave it go to here. Still all session players. Only I chose the chords. Okay, and then you'll see that the same chord is here. I haven't changed the chords there yet. And I'll skip to about here. And it changes up again here, and I've added swing to the percussion and the keys and changed the keyboards. Right, okay, and then I'll quickly play you a snippet from another session. Let's save and load this project, and I think I call this one More Session Players, just to give you a completely different vibe of the other kind of stuff you can do. Right, now with this one, I used MIDI input to put my chords in. Okay, so obviously I could find these chords or make these chords, but all I did was play them via my MIDI. Now I'll also show you how to do that, but this is the kind of cool thing you can do as well. Same kind of thing at the beginning, basic drums, basic keys. And then this is a session players playing Mode Mariana. And they've got some slap bass now. Okay, so let's create a completely new project and start from scratch so you can get an idea of what's going on. So first of all, new empty project, choose tracks, And then we want to be looking at session players. Now we can choose from keyboard player, bass player, or drummer to start. We'll just start with the basics and we'll start with drummer. And it will create an 8-bar loop for us. So 8 bars, and it'll give us this pop rock acoustic drummer. We'll stick with this because changing drummers, let me play this. Let me just cycle a region as well. So we'll get this going and have this for a start off cycle over these 8 bars while we take a look at different things we can do. But before I go any further, let me close this. I will duplicate this. So I'm going to hit the duplicate button here and just drag this along. So now we have 2 of them, but I'll stick with this first one for now. Take that off, duplicate, and let's just play. So let's go and edit. You can see the CPU is going bonkers, right? This is because this is a 2020 iPad with an A12 chip. It's the lowest iPad. It's the earliest iPad that will run Logic, okay? But it won't run things like the stem splitter and stuff. But you see, this is bonkers. It'll start cracking up in a sec. This is because, right, on almost every track, on almost every session player track, they stick a chroma glow, right? And watch this. Do this. Take chroma glow off, and my CPU basically goes away, right? Now, there are other things we can do. I mean, chroma glow, it's bonkers. That's just insane. So I can't use chroma glow, right? Okay, but it doesn't really matter because it sounds the same. And you can always make other effects do the same thing. Right now, we've got our basic pattern going. So there's your first tip. If you're running an older iPad, check your effects and if chroma glow is there, take it off because it's just this massive CPU hog. Right. Complexity. You can see everything change here. Intensity is going to make him play quieter. You can change this to a ride. And believe it or not, we have complete mix control over our drums as well. I'll show you that in a sec. Or floor tom. Let's put it back on hi-hat. Fill amount and fill complexity. So we're going to get quite a few fills. And the complexity will be quite high. Okay, let's turn that down for this little section. Swing in eighths. And also in sixteenths. Quite nice. Right, let's put that back to 8s and leave the swing at 50%, which is normal. We can change up the pattern for the percussion, but I've got it quite not very complex. But we could say, right, well, let's change our drum pattern here. Let's vary up the drum pattern. You can see slight changes happening because the complexity is low, but if you have the complexity very high, intensity high, let's just shuffle that up. See, changes are happening. And if we now you can also have it follow tracks, but we haven't got any other tracks yet, so let's leave it follow chords. Now let's take this back to that. Let's take our complexity right down. Now you can also, if you want to, go into details here and add ghost notes in, snare automatic, percussion off, hi-hats closed, but listen. Hear all them little ghost notes on the snare now? Let's take this stuff out there. We can have it pull or push the rhythm. We can add dynamics. We can humanize. You'll notice all this with more complexity. And then we have manual mode where we can kind of just program our own kind of beat, if you like. Okay. The cool thing now is, you'll watch, if I go to my second section, all this changes. And this is the power of the session players. Because for each section, you can have a different feel. So if I extend this now, it's a bit more action, right? Okay. Let's add in a bass player now. Now I'm going to just tap on this and tap on chords, and it's going to give me a C chord here. If I tap on this, right, I can shorten this down. So say I want my chords to change every 4 bars, right? You'll see that here, if I place my cursor here and I add chord, right, I'm just going to change this to, don't worry about the chord, I'm going to change the root note and I'm going to change it to an F. So basically this will play F. I'm going to pick this again, drag it back here and position the cursor here. Oops. I'm going to position the cursor here. And this time I'm going to enter a chord via Midi, right? So I'm going to, no, I'm not. I'm going to wait and do that in a bit. First of all, in fact, I'll leave that as it is because it'll just continually play F. I want to show you Midi input, but I need a keyboard player to do that. Let's add in session player and let's choose bass player and just click OK. And this is going to give us the same kind of vibe. It's going to give us 8 bars of this basic starting point. I'm going to select this and duplicate it the same way. And I'm going to stick with my first set of bars, my first 8 bars for now. And now when I play, now you see the CPU's gone bonkers. I'm going to have to open this and take off Chroma Glow. So make that go away. And you see our CPU will go back to normal. Now you'll also be able to save tons of processing power when you set it up and you hit freeze function. But there you go. You can also take out anything else here that's kind of, I mean, I'm not going to be using a limiter on the bass. I'm not going to be using fat effects. I can just get rid of them and that'll save a little bit more, but not much because they don't use a lot of CPU. Okay, let's close that. So let's choose a bass player region and open this up a little bit so we can have a look what's going on. Right, let's play our little thing. Again, complexity is, let's make it even simpler, see? And you see it's now following the chord track. Let's go back to C. You'll see it's following the chord track as well. So it's kind of, if I didn't, it would still work. Okay, but it's best to have it follow the chord track. And now I could also say have it follow the drums. And you see it's changed the gain. We can have some fill intensity for the bass. Details. Let's have some dead notes in there. Let's add a few dynamics. Let's increase, let's leave the intensity as it is, it's fine. And again, you can do the same thing. You can kind of tap in a manual rhythm. It's nice to have your bass follow the drums anyway a lot of the time. Let's go to our second section here now. Let's just move this whole thing along. And when it gets here, it'll start to play this and it'll all be in F because I haven't added any chords. All right, now let's add in a chord, but I'm gonna just hit plus chord here and I'm gonna have it play an minor and an A minor. So it'll go to A minor here. Here we go. Let's look at our second bass player. Bit more intense this one, as you can see. Let's put some slides in. Okay. Main. Follow. SoCal. Now let's put in another chord. So I'm going to click on this, drag it along to there, which is halfway. Place my cursor there and add in let's just add in a G. So boing, like that. Okay. So now we've got more of a vibe going on with the bass. Okay, fine. Let me just get rid of that. Select the region and increase the complexity a bit and the intensity. Shuffle up the pattern a couple of times. Okay. Right. Let's close this out and now let's add in a keyboard player. So add, and this is where this starts to get really fun. Let's add keyboard player and tap that and open our session, and I'm gonna have this duplicated as well. So just select that and move it along. So in this first section, like before, I'm going to start this relatively mild, right? So select the region, select the thing, and tap on your edit button, and you'll see the range of our keys here. So I'm going to have this go like this a little bit more, and you'll see it'll change. But I'm going to take the complexity down, and this is the kind of stuff we can do. So again, I'm just going to select the first part here and just play. Now I'm going to tap on this and I can choose different styles, right? So broken chords, block chords, arpeggiated. Now I'm going to watch. If I change this now, it'll change to a synth. Let me go back to arpeggiated. I'm going to switch change patch off and go to simple pad. And you'll hear it's just the piano, although it's changed to that icon, but it's now just the piano playing that simple pad. Now, I'm going to change this chord up. I'm going to drag it to there, like this. Position my cursor here. In fact, I'm going to change this chord, right? I'm going to edit chord. I'm going to change this to an F sus4. Then I am going to add in a new chord, which is F here. So I'm going to hit plus. So position my cursor here and hit this, edit chord and choose an F. Okay, so now you'll see that this will play and it'll follow our kind of chord change. So let's do that. See, we've got another chord coming here. Okay. So I quite like the F sus4 in the F instead of this A minor and G. So what I'm going to do is I'll close this so I can see what I'm doing. Let me just scroll along it a bit, make it like this. I am going to make sure my copy thing is on, my duplicate thing. Select this chord. I'm just going to drag it over and drop it over that A minor. Then I'm going to drop this sus4 chord next to it, and then this F chord again, next to this. And now we've got a repetition, but our stuff is going to change, right? So let's have this go across the whole thing. And don't worry, this is just the next chord. You can obviously change it as you go on. So if we play now, let's play from here so we get an idea. Well, actually, let's play it all. It was quite nice. Right, so... Right, okay, so I'm going to drag this into here and make this bass a little bit more exciting, right? So let's just select our bass player here. Let's open up the editor, select the region, and I'm going to change the bass up, right? I'm going to change it to maybe a pop rock. Oh, yeah, there we go, pop rock. Now, let's just get out of here. So pop rock, but you'll see this is still the same. So I'm going to also change this up to pop rock as well. Give it a sec to catch up with itself. Here we go. And now you see we've got a much more interesting bass line. I'm going to lower the complexity on this one, okay, and the intensity. I'll leave the fill amounts the same, but this time I will put in the slides. Now, because it's not kind of a basic bass player, we're going to get some slides added in. Okay, well, we should do. Let's go to our second one here, add in some more slides, and we know it's more complex and intense. So now we've changed up the feel just by changing the kind of the rhythm, the different bass player and different style, if you like, for the session player. Okay, so let's try that then. And it actually, yeah, no, because we want to hear what we've done, don't we? So let's do that. Again, right, we need to look at our effects because I've changed the patch. It's added in. I wish there was a default way of just not having chroma glow in. Right, we can get rid of the fat effects as well. Don't need that. Right, so let's see what we've got now. Yeah, very cool. Right, so you can see that all these chords are separate at the moment, but we can block all these chords together. To group chords, what you do is you you just tap on it, right, like this, and go select all in cycle, which is this whole cyclic region sort of thing. Tap it again and go group chords, and that joins those chords together. Right, so this actually might be quite handy for us for this next section, so I'll leave it as it is. So what I want to do now is, do I want to take the whole, yeah, I'll take the whole thing. I'm going to basically select all of these like that. Tap on this and then move the whole thing over like this, okay? And now I can, because I've grouped this one, let me just ungroup these and get rid of this chord, right? So again oh no, it's separate, right? I can just delete that one because I only grouped the cyclic region. Brilliant. So now what we can do, I think, is select all of these, just drag the whole thing over instead of dragging independent chords over. But we could change these chords anyway. To ungroup the chords again, all we need to do is tap on it and go ungroup chords, and it ungroups the chords in that section, and then we could do the same with there. So now we've got complete control over these chords, right? Let's see. Let's add in, I'm going to just go to here because basically now this will be a copy of what we've just had. So now we can add in another instrument. And let's add in a drummer. Okay, so now we're going to add in another drummer region, and it'll sit here, and it'll, let me just close this out. Right, now I'm going to just move that there. I'm going to delete that one. It's because I've got copy on, and I'm going to also move that there. But I'm going to go into the drummer editor. Okay, I'm going to tap on this, and at the top here it says type: acoustic drummer, electronic drummer, percussionist, bass player, or session player. Let's have percussionist on, and let's choose a songwriter percussion set. And we have lots of different percussion options here, right? So both of those are turned off at the moment. We've got some stick thing and tambourine and cajon and claps going on. Again, watch. We're going to take the complex. Is that? No, sorry, we're still on percussion. We're going to take the. Oh no, we're not. Oh, that's good. Right, let's also change this to a percussionist. That's something else as well. You can have different for each thing, songwriter. So now we've got songwriter and songwriter. Brilliant. I'm going to take the complexity down for this first one and the intensity, and maybe take out the cajon. See, now it's getting very simple. And for this one, I will add in a couple of things, but take the complexity down and the intensity and the fill amounts and stuff. Let's see what we've got now. So you can hear the percussion. Okay. This is where it gets really super cool. There's a couple of things we can do. We can start duplicating tracks and stuff like this. We could duplicate this whole studio grand vibe. Let's just do that, shall we? I'm just going to do this, duplicate this, and it will duplicate the track. It won't add new sessions in for us. So what I'm going to do is create a player region here. Okay, and what's this? Overlapping nodes found. Really? Right, okay. Just keep them. Right, so I'm just going to delete that one now. Okay, so I am going to tap on this and drag that over. So now we've got this other keyboard player here. Let's solo this and just play it. Let's open up. Now, don't forget, it's just remembering what was the last thing I had playing here. So let's open up the editor. It's on simple pad. Let's change the instrument completely. Okay. Now, to do this, all we need to do is tap on the. Another good thing about duplicating the track, by the way, if you're using the lesser power iPad, is it duplicates without the chroma glow, which is a handy thing to have. So watch. Studio piano is the instrument being used, right? If I change this to, say, if I go, right, change pad, go back here and go back to simple pad. Oh, you'll see it's retro synth. This means that we can go in and change any instrument and have the session players control our instruments. And this is one of the superpowers. It's awesome. So, for example, let's do this. Let's get rid of retro synth, for example. Although there's nothing wrong with retro synth. Let's just add in another instrument. Let's add in maybe. Oh, look, I did this. Let's add in studio horns, stereo, done deal, and it's in. And I'm going to tap on this because this first patch will be a mono patch. It's just a trumpet. So I'm going to change this to soul section. Okay, so now I've got a soul horn section that's going to be controlled by my session player here. Right, so let's just close this out for now. Open up our session player view, and you'll see it's still on simple pad. That's fine for now. I'm going to tap on this and I'm going to switch change patch off because I want to keep my horns for whatever I want to try out here, right? So now initially, let's do this. If I go back to the beginning here, I'll have my, let me go back to the beginning of the thing. The horn section. Okay, so that's great, but it's not super interesting. You could, of course, just start splitting these chords up so the horn stabs play twice. For example, select this C chord, and all we need to do is let's just drag this in like this and place our cursor here. Plus chord's going to add another C, but let's make this a C sus4, okay? And then it'll go to an F sus4, then an F. But you'll notice that what happens now is this horn will then play twice. So if I go back to the beginning of my section here, oops, sorry about that. Okay, this is because the horns have got special effects on them. And what effects have we got? Let's just go and have a look. Tape delay. Let's turn that tape delay off for a sec. And let's go make this a bit busier. So this is cool. Because this is a session player playing these horns, we can apply all the cool stuff that you can do with your selector section. All the cool stuff you can do with your session players, you can apply it to the horns. So for example, this could be, let's put broken chords in, right? But you'll see the second half is still our simple pad. So maybe we'll have this arpeggiated instead. And then this one, we'll change that style. Make sure change patch is always off to broken chords and see what that does to our brass section. Okay. This is the superpowers, right? The absolute brilliance of session players is you can just dive in and keep adding and adding and adding stuff and just tweaking it to your liking. So let's see what it sounds like but on its own. Sounds pretty cool. That doesn't sound so good. So I think for this should be this will be block chords. That sounds better. Or maybe just make it less complex. Let's spread the range. This is this one, remember? Takes a while to change, so okay. So with the rest of the track, it's not really working, is it? Maybe with this one, where this gets busier, we could have this one literally just play our simple pad chords. So it'll just be sustained notes. And maybe change that brass section. Let's go into there, go into our horns, and change the soul section to a jazz section, maybe? I don't know. Different things we can try. Okay, so articulation, let's have this sustain. That's going to be better, I think, for what we want. Let's see. Super duper superpowers. I love this idea. Right, so great. Let's try that. That still sounds okay. See if it sounds better with these sustains. Yeah. Okay, I like that. That sounds better. All right, so let's see what else we can do now. Now, again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, okay, because because I don't want to keep having to go and chroma glow this stuff out. So what we're going to try now is let's see what we could do. I'm going to select select this bunch here, and I've still got my duplicate file thing on. I'm just going to slide all this over like that. So I've got this second section, and I'm going to add in, let me just create a session. Let me just put my cursor at the point as well. I'm going to go here, just create session player region, and we'll probably get the same overlap warning here now. So yeah, I'll just delete that. Delete. Now I've got a new session player, and it'll be just playing this Studio Grand. Let's have a look. Select that region. Yeah, it'll just be simple pad. Let's see here. Bear with me a sec. Going to solo this, so it's going to just play one chord, which is this, because I haven't added any chords in. But I don't want it to be this piano. What I want it to be is this kind of cool Rhodes type piano we can make. So because it's a session player, we can go and change the instrument from anything we want. We can change it to whatever we like. So let's go and delete this one here. I'm going to choose a new instrument, maybe vintage electric piano. So we've got, excuse me, studio instruments. Don't need to worry about any of them. We can have strings or whatever you like. Vintage electric piano I'm going to put in here. And I need to make some adjustments to this so it sounds better. So let's just, before we mess with this, and I've got it soloed anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to open up our pianist thing here, right? So I can leave change patch switch on because I want to keep that piano sound. I'm just going to start with freely and see what this sounds like. Let's have a wider range. Let's go to our piano. Okay, let's make some adjustments to our session player, maybe. That's nicer. I've got some effects on here, I think I have. Nice. leave that on 88. Okay. All right. Go back here. I'm going to close this now. Just carry on with just testing that. Hang on. I'm going to look at the actual session player. Main. Yep, that's fine. Maybe a bit more dynamics. Maybe change it up a little bit. This will just kind of slightly alter your pattern. So this one now, I'll just delete that. So I'm going to duplicate this percussionist now. So select it and let's duplicate the percussionist. And what I'm going to do is kind of make more adjustments to this. So we know that this is our roads, right? So I'm going to take this, make sure I'm thingied, and drag it over here. So I've got, oh no, select me duplicate thing. So many things to remember. And our new percussionist, I'm going to just tap on here and go create player region. And it's going to give us some percussion, right? But we can play with that. And let's go this. Now we know that at the moment we haven't made any adjustments to our chords. Let's open our chord track up again. Since here, so this F, I'm going to start making some changes to the chords. So I'm going to add a chord here. Let's make this a little bit bigger so we can see. So I'm going to add a new chord in. Now this time, if I select our, let me just select our Studio Grand. So I can play my MIDI keyboard, right? I'm going to enter some notes in with the enter MIDI. So plus chord here. And you'll see it says C. Let's go here to use MIDI input. Now I'm going to, what was the chord it was playing? F. See, it's entered an F was, but I'm going to change that to an F F major 7 sus2. So that's the chord I'm going to change that to. And then I'm going to get out of there, make this a bit shorter. See how cool this is, right? Let's have it halfway here and let's have this change a little bit more often. I'm going to put my cursor here. I'm going to go plus chord. Now, what was it I said? F set, which was, what would sound nice after that? You can play as many of these as you like, by the way. I'm going to use MIDI input. You can play it as many times as you want. It will just keep changing the chord for you. That was the chord. Oh. Yep, that one, nice. That D6. And let's just enter another one. You must be now beginning to see the hyperpowers of the session players. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Just go plus chord and use MIDI input. So what was that I just played? That it was a D6, wasn't it? Right, anyway, and now I'm going to play a C add 9. That should sound quite pleasant. He says, hoping. And then what we can do is select, just those three. Tap on, oh, no, again, come off select, tap on it, group those chords together, make sure our duplicators select, and just drag them on over to this section here. And now all this will follow this. Right, so let's play for me and just see what happens with our new chord sort of thing. Okay, so yeah, that sounds nice. Yeah, it really does. I'm going to extend this. Actually, I'm just going to see how it transitions in from let me just switch that off and say how it transitions in from this section to this section, just to see what it sounds like. It should sound all right. Notice that all these are still separate chords and this is grouped. Oh, it sounds all right actually. And actually, that's quite busy. So at this point, you could sort of say, well, we could make the bass a little bit simpler. Just select the region and the bass. To make sure you select the region you want. Open the editor. Well, it's quite simple anyway, isn't it? But let's make it even more simpler. There you go. And hopefully now this will sound all right. Let's get out of this. And now let's see it going from this into this super basic section, but it will still follow our chords. So I'm going to drag this over. And don't worry about this little thing here because it's just the last chord that I added, and set our playhead. Cool. Now, let's change up the feel. We're on percussion, selected on this. Let's go into here, swing. Right, let's add some more. Very, very, very nice. I like that. Let's go onto our keyboards here. Let's go into this region. Yes. Okay. Let's do one more thing. Again, I'm going to... What I can't do is select the chord track as well. That doesn't matter. I'm going to select these two. Make sure I'm on my duplicate. I'm going to swing them over here. Then I'm going to select this and bring them over here because I want the same chords. Then I'm going to look for my bass player, boink, and I'm going to duplicate that. Okay, so now I have another bass player, but it won't have added the blinking chroma glow, which will destroy the CPU on these older iPads. Right, so I'm going to tap on here. Create a session player region, right? And I'm going to move that region to the, just delete this one because I've got my duplicate on. I tend to leave it on. Let's just focus on this section. So I'm going to change this up a lot. So I'm going to go into the edit for the bass here, and I will check my chroma glow in a sec, because let me choose bass. I'm going to change this to disco slap. Now this will add in a chroma glow, unfortunately. So let's go and do this because I've completely changed it up. So let's go and find it. And there is the effect. Nothing the matter with chroma glow. It's absolutely brilliant. It just won't run. It just won't. I don't know why they did that. I mean, it's not that great. It's good, but it's not that great. You can recreate it easily. So don't need fat effects, but we'll leave it on, see how it sounds. Let's see. So we've got studio bass doing the slap, and bass player is disco slap. Remember, you can go in and change up any of these bass players or anything you like. So, just tap on it and change a different type of bass player. But we shall leave it as it is set and see how that sounds, because they know better than me. Right, so let's see what this sounds like now with this funky slappy thing going on. Pretty cool. Oh, very cool. Let's have this follow. That's better. Let's put some swing in. There we go. Look at that. Now, one more tip. Let's take that off. If you want to save CPU, see, it's all right. It's dealing with it fine. We could add tons more instruments. We could change any instruments we like. We can change out the instruments for AUV3s, etc. You can even change the tempo if you want to with the tempo track. And you know how all the chord stuff works. It's very, very cool. You've seen how you can enter it via Midi, or just choose a chord and put it in there and edit chords and put more in there. It's so good. And it's so, well, what's the word I'm looking for? So it's not involved. It is involved, but it gets you involved. You get lost in it, And if you're still here watching this, I'm going to just play this through now to end. But you should get the idea that this is really powerful stuff. The ability to change out instruments, or just add different percussionists, or other drummers, or change drum kits, or whatever you like. It's very cool. I mean, we could add the drums in there now, so it kind of gets a drum vibe going, but we'll leave it as it is. Or more synthesizers, having them played with the Studio Grand. Or we could just say, add in the Studio Grand and just have it playing arpeggio. Well, let's try that just for fun. Let's select this. Let's stick it there. Make sure our region is selected, and make sure our Studio Grand is selected. Let's go and edit that and choose arpeggiated for that end section. Block chords. Let's choose arpeggiated. See what happens. Might take a second to catch up. Who knows? Anyway, it might not work, but let's see. I'm going to go back to the beginning. Guys, if you were watching this video premiere, thank you very much. I know. Oh, yeah. The other thing was about making your project less CPU intensive. Whatever you hit here, if you've got stuff going on that's kind of a lot, you can hit freeze. And when you start to play, it won't play straight away. It'll freeze the tracks, and all this will go back to kind of nothing. If I do this, and I'll press play now, and it'll start to freeze the track like this. But it would take absolutely yonks, as you can see, to freeze it all. But once you've done that, let's cancel it. Once you've done that, all your CPU basically goes back to zero. So for example, if you're looking at adding more stuff and you really want to add a massive project, you can freeze any of this stuff. You can always unfreeze it, but you can freeze it and your CPU will go all the way down to basically nothing again. Anyway, top job. Is that the best I can do with that? No, I can get it right in. All right, gang. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you realised that your session players have got an awful lot of power. And I know this has been a long video, but it's worth exploring all this stuff, you know. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later. Ta-ra.